In this video, I'm going to share with you 11 tips for new kombucha brewers. What's going on, my Boochhead friends? My name is Liz, and on this channel, I like to talk about all things kombucha. So let's get right into it. Number one is that don't be intimidated by the process if you're a new brewer or you haven't even started brewing yet. It's really easy. You just make fresh tea, you put a SCOBY in with some starter tea. Starter tea is just finished kombucha. You let it sit, and then you put it in a smaller bottle. My second tip for new kombucha brewers is to keep a post-it note or a note card near your brew so that you can write the dates down to figure out your own methods and how many days you like your brews to go. Number three is use strong starter tea. Starter tea is just finished kombucha. The SCOBY has its benefits as well, but what really gets the brew going, what gets the fermentation going, is the starter tea. Anything over 12 days is usually great. Number four, the best way to determine when your kombucha is done is by tasting it as you go so that you can determine how you like your kombucha. You'll have your note card handy so you can write down the dates and how many days you let your first fermentation go. And to taste it, you can just take a straw, dip it in the brew, pull some up and taste it, or just use a spoon and scoop some off the top. Number five is that you can grow a SCOBY from any store brand kombucha, even the ones you get from the farmer's market. It takes about 2 weeks. It's really simple. I made a video that I'll link here that talks about, or it shows when I grow SCOBY from Healthy Kombucha. Any videos that I mention in this video, I'll also link down in the description box for you. Number six is that kombucha is very forgiving. So if you don't put the right amount of sugar in, or you put a little bit too much starter tea, or this happens to me all the time, I let it go a day or two or three or four over, it usually doesn't affect the taste too much. Sometimes it can turn to vinegar. But like I said, kombucha is forgiving. There's easy ways to fix it. I'm going to link 2 videos on how to fix sour kombucha and also how to fix flat kombucha. Number 7, and this one's really important. The first few batches of kombucha you make with your new SCOBY might not be totally amazing. It'll probably still be good, but when you drink it and you're like, wow, like you just fall out of your seat. Usually takes a couple of brews to get to that point. And I discovered this a while ago when I started giving SCOBYs to people, and they would say, yeah, it was good. And then like a couple months later, they would contact me and tell me how great their kombucha was. So kombucha is it's living organisms. They're alive. And I think that they just need time to get acclimated to their new environment. So just keep that in mind when you're a new brewer. Number 8, airtight bottles are going to give you the best fizz for your second fermentation, also referred to as F2. Here are some of the bottles that I use. Like to use lots of different types of bottles. The flip top bottles are a lot of fun and they give you great fizz, but I like to use the wider mouth ones because I can get bigger chunks of fruit into them. Another option is the company Ball that makes mason jars has airtight lids that fit on the wide mouth jars. So you can just use those. That way you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new bottles. And most people have mason jars laying around their house anyway. Number 9 is that a thick SCOBY is not an indicator that your kombucha is done. Please refer back to tip number 4, where the best way to tell is to taste it. SCOBY, the size of the SCOBYs are all different. So I'm going to show you a clip. I just recorded this. I'm bottling this kombucha today. It's been sitting 15 days. And as you can see, the SCOBY's not really thick. Number 10, don't let the fear of mold stop you from brewing kombucha. It's actually pretty rare. I did actually just get it recently, but I know the exact reason why I got it. And I'm going to give you 2 tips on how to prevent mold. The first is to use strong starter tea, which we already talked about. 12 days or older is perfect. And the second tip is keeping your brew at the right temperature. When kombucha gets cold, the bacteria and yeast go dormant, meaning they're like sleeping. They're not working. They're not going to consume the sugar and ferment. When you have it at the right temperatures, it's the perfect environment for the bacteria and yeast to work and do their magic. The best temperatures are around 68 to 78 degrees. I just checked the temperature on my kombucha, the one I just showed you, and the temperature was 72. A couple weeks ago in February, when I checked it, and it was pretty cold in February, the temperature was 67. So remember what I said, kombucha is very forgiving. If the temperature is a concern for you, maybe you can't leave your kombucha in the kitchen, you have to leave it in your room where it's cold, then it might be a good option to buy one of these thermometers. I'm not recommending everyone go out and buy these. I don't think you need it, but everyone's situation is different. I'll put a link to either Amazon or Target, which will be an affiliate link if you're interested in picking one of these up. I've had mine for 6 years and it's still going strong. That brings me to number 11. Never put your SCOBY in the fridge. When you put your SCOBY in the refrigerator or cold temperatures, the bacteria and yeast go dormant, meaning that they're no longer active. So if you were to take the SCOBY out of the fridge and put it into some fresh tea to make kombucha, there's a really good chance you would end up getting mold, because the bacteria and yeast are sleeping. They're dormant. They're not going to be able to consume the sugar and convert everything. Fear not, because remember I said kombucha is very forgiving. If you've put your SCOBY in the fridge, take it out, put it on the counter. If it's in the right temperatures, give it about 2 weeks so that the bacteria and yeast can wake up again, and then add a cup of fresh tea. I would probably use 2 tea bags and a 1/4 cup of sugar. I know that's a lot, but you're feeding the organisms. Once it's cooled down, add that to the SCOBY. And if you get a new SCOBY, that means you're good, that the kombucha is good, the starter tea is good, and you can make your kombucha. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That just sends you a notification when I put out a new video, so that in a couple months, when you've turned into a master kombucha brewer, come back and you can find new things to do with kombucha. Hi, buddy. This is Chase. Everyone say hi to Chase. You want to say hi to everyone?
Hi.
What do you need, bud? Check out my playlist for new kombucha brewers, where I break down each step of the kombucha making process. Or you can check out my highly underrated video, which I show you my recipe for kombucha muffins. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. See you in the next one.